Hello again, everybody. I know it's been a while since I've made a tutorial. Between the last tutorial and now, I've just mainly been focusing on other things, and also, I've been making many changes to my Koikatsu workflow. I think my workflow has stabilized enough that I might finally be able to start making tutorials again. I know that I haven't made a map making tutorial yet, and that's for good reason. It's because for the longest time, my map making workflow was absolute trash. I was doing crazy shit like baking lighting inside of Blender. But yeah, I finally normalized my workflow to be much simpler and easier to follow, and so that the art can still look good. Now before we start, I have a very important point I want to address. This video is made for people who know at least the basics of Blender and can navigate the Unity interface. I've noticed a large number of people who want to make mods that haven't touched a 3D program in their life. I usually recommend that these people check out Blender Guru's donut tutorial to get them started. Now that may seem kind of cold of me, but I can't feasibly include a Blender or Unity crash course in all of my tutorials. Like in academics, you don't take calculus until you've had algebra, or you can expect to get lost. Towards the beginning of my channel, I had relatively few viewers and could answer everyone's questions reasonably well. However, since then, the channel has grown, and the questions have become overwhelming. If I tried solving every commenter's problems, it would be like a full-time job. Because of this, I have to require the viewers to teach themselves a few things if I expect to get anywhere. Now, I always provide resources and places to seek help in the description, so that's where you should go if you run into problems. The Koikatsu Discord community is full of people who know modding back to front and can help solve most problems. They've been a great help to me in the past. So, with that out of the way, let's actually get into map making. So, what we have here is a default Blender scene. I just have shader editor, that's what. Shade editor open, and I have a UV editor open. And this is just a default scene, so yeah. What I usually want to do is just delete everything to start with. When I make a map, I usually start by actually making a map and, start, doing things and, like, making the geometry. But I know a lot of people just like to port maps, so that's what I'm going to do just for the sake of brevity. So this map might be familiar to some of you, if you are familiar with Half-Life 1. What I have here is, hold on, Black Mesa. For some reason there's a giant cube in here. I don't know what that is. There's probably a bunch of like hitboxes in here. I might have to clean this up a little bit. So let me just clean this up by deleting stuff that's not necessary and then get back to you. Alright guys, so what I did was I just removed all of the random trigger boxes and any lights in the scene because we're not going to be doing our lighting in Blender. So far, this is what we got. I did have an idea here. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but if we go to these windows, it would be awesome to be able to make, yes, okay, so it would be awesome to be able to make this transparent, especially within Unity. So if we grab that, and then we can just literally drag the alpha down, and then yeah, you'll be able to see through these windows. I think that's how it was in the actual game, yeah? It's been such a long time since I've played it. But yeah, this isn't really necessary. Doing this within Blender isn't really necessary, but it is cool to be able to like see it, If you were making your map from scratch, yeah, I mean, you'd be spending hours and hours and hours in Blender, but with this, it was pretty easy. It was just to import, and then it's already good to go, pretty much. I guess the only thing we really want to do is make sure that everything is set to have the origin point be where we would want the player to spawn in. I mean, so we'll just place the origin right there for everything. Let's make a empty object to put everything in, just for organization purposes. So I'm going to put an empty right here, and then select everything, grab the empty, and then parent everything to it. Keep transform. And then this empty, I just select just the empty, and then hit Alt-G, and it'll smack it to the beginning of the whole world. So you can see where the red and green intersect. That is where the empty is placed. So I'm going to click save just so I don't lose anything, and everything looks good to go. So what I'm going to do is just export to an FBX file. What I like to do is select everything, FBX, and then make sure it's selected objects, active collection, just for my own peace of mind, for my own sanity. We don't have armatures, but if we did, we would turn off that because that option is Satan. Then we export, I believe. Yeah, there you go. Ready for Unity. So let's switch over into Unity and continue working there. Before we get into actually like working with Unity, we need to copy one of these example files in KKModdingTools. I'm assuming that you have KKModdingTools. If you don't, then go to the link that I'm going to provide in the description so you can get it so that all of this works. And if you haven't already, check out my previous tutorial to really get introduced to KKModdingTools. I'm just going to operate off the assumption that everyone watching has seen my previous tutorial. I think it's, we go to examples, map example, and what I've done is, to make things easier on me, I've modified the map example to make it more conducive to faster editing, basically. Things are easier. All right, so we're gonna rename map example. I'm just gonna call it Black Mesa, and then we're gonna hit the process.odt, and this is something that I'm going to definitely include in the description. Basically what it is it's a document telling you what all needs to be changed in order to have your map show up in Koikatsu. So I'm just going to be going through this list and copying all these values. So what's easy about this setup is that you can select a word that you want to replace. Okay, so the illusion mods, that's going to be the name of the person making the mod. So instead of illusion mods, I'm going to have my name right here. Just hit replace all. Boom, there you go. And then we have example map. We're going to replace with Black Mesa. Replace all. So that means that everywhere in the file we have replacement with Black Mesa. And then let's see. Instead of it saying purple room, we're going to have it say Black Mesa, like that. And then instead of, here's the cool part. Instead of purple room.unity 3D, it's going to say Black Mesa.unity 3D. Replace all. That just makes it so quick, so easy. Instead of having to go through and hunt down every single file, you just have it all set up here, and it reminds you what needs to be changed, which is cool. Then let me go Black Mesa. Replace. Here's one thing that you have to worry about is the map ID. Now, the ID number doesn't matter for accessories, studio items, clothing, etc. But it does matter for maps specifically, because maps function on like a hard ID system. There's no way to like remove that. So what I've done is I have a little document in my thing back here which just tells me which map ID I'm working with. So the most recent map I've made has an ID of 34218. For me, I'm gonna just put my number as 34219, and you just come up with a jumble of numbers, and then just start incrementing. I mean, it'd be great if we could all like coordinate on it. I mean, maybe there is a coordinating, and I'm just not aware of it. But me just kind of making maps on my own, I've just kind of chose this random number, this 5-digit number, and I've just been going up and up and up and up with it every map I make. So 34219 is going to be the map ID for Black Mesa because that's the latest one in my numbering system. So let me just anything with 6900 we replace with 34219. Boom. Yeah, that seems to have done everything. So then we just follow this directions to a T, basically. So let's see. Our GUID is going to be this. So let's go. Okay, we're going to find manifest right here. So then we just paste, copy, paste, basically. Copy. Go through here, paste. Why does it say example map? I meant to say Black Mesa. Okay. Now, if it says example map at the bottom, I'm going to shoot myself. Okay, there we go. All right, version 1.0. Yeah. Author, good. Description. There you go. There's your description. All right, and then website. We already have my website set up. Let's see. Yeah, so as I said, this is a modified example folder that just makes it easier. So my website was already there. And then we go to here, purple room. So that's going to be this boy right here. Map name, copy and paste this into here. Number, which is going to be the unique ID. Paste that into there. Asset bundle name, easy as hell. Right there, boom. Asset name, here's the thing. We got to make sure, just copy that, paste that. All right, we got to make sure that this is named Black Mesa because that's what it says on the thing and that's what the screenshot says. Okay, and then thumbnail bundle. Thumbnail bundle right, thumbnail bundle right here. Thumbnail asset 34219 and blah blah blah. There you go. All right, so now what we need to do is go through our thumbnails down here and rename that, replace 6900 with 34219. So right there, just do that. Right there. And it's as easy as that right there. Oh yeah, we also need to rename these as well to have 34219 instead of 6900. After finish setting up H points, drag prefab into asset window and replace old ones. Yep, that's something we'll do eventually. Copy H point. Yeah, configure VR H points. That'll be for later. That'll be for later. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, so here's what we do. Now we have our list of asset bundles that we need to copy and paste the names into. So we have this thing, purple room here. Well, we renamed it already, but then we just go to the asset bundle, rename this, hit new, paste, enter. Boom, easy. So then we go to our thumbnails. Our thumbnails are going to have this map thumbnail Black Mesa right there. And then our list info file, map list map info Black Mesa right there. And we could rename this. I mean, we don't have to, but we can. Black Mesa. There we go. And then we have H common Black Mesa for all three of these. Like that. And then there's the VR ones, which we will eventually get to. So then we have containing folder name. Okay, so here's what we do. All of this is set up for us to have the H map appear in Koikatsu, like the main game. But we still need to set up its appearance in Studio. So we just go into here, into List, Studio, and then what we do is rename map example to the name of our map, which I'm going to use, obviously, Black Mesa, like that. And then we just go into here, and then we have map underscore what the name of our map is, Black Mesa. I like to camel case it. I don't know if it's required to do that, but I just do it. Double click in your open it in your text editor of choice. So at the bottom here we have all these numbers and stuff. So what this corresponds to is all of these, right? So the first thing we have is the ID, which is right here, and it just gets pasted like that. What then we have is Black Mesa, which is the name that shows up in the studio map list. Right here, and the format I like to use is have my name here and then the name of the map so that all of your maps are put in the same spot and they're not just jumbled around. All right, so then we have slash our bundle path, which is bundle path. Instead of purple room, we just basically change it to Black Mesa, and then we just do this, copy that, paste that. It's going to be the name of this asset here, which is we've already renamed it. As you know, we've renamed it to Black Mesa, and then the rest, I mean, I don't know. I've never touched it. Manifest, don't touch it. Bundle path for collider file, I mean, I guess if you have I'm assuming this is for colliders. Honestly, if you ask me, I couldn't tell you what this is for. So I don't know. Doesn't matter if you change it or not. So we've made all those changes. And so now if we literally, we have our map here, right? I've made changes to the map. Of course, if you open up the example in your thing, you're gonna see purple room, right? You're gonna see this map here. At this point, if we export this map as a zip mod, right? We build asset bundles, build zip mod, go into our, build folder, and then drag that into Koikatsu's mods folder, we will see the map show up in the list, which is amazing. It's astounding because you know how long my previous tutorial was, making sure everything was just perfect and not knowing which slash to put where, which .unity 3D goes where. Having this list here has made all the difference. I might make more of these for other different types of mods, but yeah, I really like this list format here. It just makes it really quick and simple and easy, so yeah. One thing I want you to be extremely aware of is this thing called sunlight info, which is sort of a master sunlight file, which has the potential to break your map. So what you need to worry about is this whole thing called visible list. So usually what you start with is 3 of these, and one of them is day, one of them is night, one of them is evening, right? I've narrowed it down to 1 just because that's how I like to make maps. I mean, so this whole visible list right here, if it's set to 1, you're going to need something in here, right? And what this does is it toggles objects based on which time of day you're in. But what I do is if you don't really care about that feature, then just turn it off, size 0, and then that right there is the source of a lot of crashes, this visible list. So yeah, I usually just keep that off. So now we have our map, right? Let's just build it and see if it even shows up in the list. All right, everybody, I had it build the asset bundles, and then I hit build zip mod, and we have gone back to here, backed out a few folders, and then gone to build, and then AB data, and that's what we see right here. So so we have our Black Mesa right here, and then I just have my mods folder open. I have my own organization structure, and then I just plop it into maps, and then we just open up Koikatsu and see if it shows up. So if we go into map selection and we look through the list, we should see, yep, there it is. And obviously, if we load into it, you're not going to see anything because it's literally just, you see, it's just an empty map. But yeah, it's good to be able to even see what's even going on. So let me just prove it to you. Loading takes a while, doesn't it? It's because I have a lot of high resolution textures on my character. I think we did hit an error, and I know why we did. Let me just check. And if the bug persists, then I'll cut again and I'll try to solve it. Okay, everybody. So there was just a little mistake there. I was clicking the wrong map. Just forget about this. This never happened. All right, purple. Okay, there we go. So we have just this empty room, and we're gonna fill it up with stuff. Let's open our folder and go back to that folder where we exported our Black Mesa FPX before. So what we want to do is take this and put the file into here somewhere, mesh folder or something like that, just to stay organized. Just drop it in there. Alright, so we have Unity's imported version of the mesh. Now, it does look to be sideways, which is a bit of a problem, so let me see if I can fix that. So let me just export again, FBX. Apply transform, perhaps? Maybe that'll fix it. Let's take a look. Yeah, apply transform did fix it. Alright, so let's just drag this into the map, into room, right here. So we're just going to put Black Mesa, we're going to, yeah. So obviously all of our materials are, oh no. We're going to need our textures before we do anything. So let's actually, I don't want to have to drag in the texture for literally everything, so I'm going to delete this. We're going to get all these textures dragged in with it. So anything that's like a a PNG file, basically. It's kind of messy, but whatever. All right, mesh, go. Ooh, what happened there? Let's take a look. Materials, let's take a look at these materials. Import material naming from models material. Okay, there we go. So that seemed to have fixed it. Material naming from models material instead of the texture name. I guess that seemed to have done it. So for now, we don't want any of this to be lit. So what we need to do, yeah, because you see all this like ugly lighting, like see on the edge there, it looks all. That's how you know a game was made in Unity in no time at all. Is if you look at the edges of textures and it just looks like that. Ew. So let's we're gonna go into our materials, right? We're gonna just grab every material, and we're just gonna change the shader to unlit texture, and there you go. Immediately, it starts to look like good old Half-Life. All right, let's see if we can turn these windows transparent. I remember that was something I wanted to do, so let's try that. So we have selected this window, so we can just go into its material and see if I can do unlit transparent. And that will turn it transparent, I guess. Wish I had more control over it. I think if you switch to something that isn't unlit, you're going to have more control over the transparency. But yeah, I mean, for now, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. And we can do that with this one too. Transparent. There you go. And now you can see through to the other room, and there's not really anything in here. For now, let's just see if we can get this to actually show up inside of Koikatsu. So we're just going to save. All right, then we're just going to build again and build a zip mod and try it again. All right, so we have this set up in Koikatsu, so it seems to be working pretty good so far. I have to mention something. Okay, so if you are using Koikatsu with its default color filter, right? You know what I'm talking about? Where filter. Oh, there it is. Okay, if you have that applied, by default, all your textures are going to be way too dark, right? So that's going to be an inherent flaw with this workflow, because what you're going to have to do is go into Unity and straight up take all your textures and either brighten them up in Photoshop or whatever image editor that you use. I used to use GIMP batch editor, or you could select all the materials that you have, and then just go standard shader, emissive, and then just turn up the color until it's, you know, bright enough that it's all there, and just turn off speculars and reflections. And then that should get you what you want. But with my current Koikatsu setup, I have disabled this this filter because I don't like it. So for me, it's really simple. But if you have that filter enabled, then you're gonna need to modify the textures before you actually import this, or else it's gonna look like shit. So just be aware of that. All right. So we have our maps set up pretty much, right? So what we need is to set up our H positions. So we have our little visualize gizmo here, right? So now all of these things you'll find in the README here, in the examples, no, not the examples README, the map README. In the README file for the map, you're essentially going to see it'll have a list of numbers that tells you what number does what. So essentially, you have these H points, and you can drag them around and place them around, and that's going to be where they are on the map, right? And you have different ones. You know, you have one for chair, so you can just move it, press E, you know, press W, go around and place these things however you want. And another thing you can do with these is change this number here. So you can change this number here, and it'll change what it is. It's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, go to the README file to find all the different positions you can do. So basically, you just want to set these up pretty close to what they should be. And I know, you know, waifu size varies, right? So give yourself a little bit of room. I recommend testing out your H positions with different sizes of waifus to see if it actually works properly. let's at least put the chair where the chair is supposed to be. And we'll just select this chair. Hell yeah. So we're just going to rotate this chair like so, just so that she can sit in it facing away. Bada boom. And especially with chairs, you're going to want to give it some space, just because the shorter your waifu is, the lower she'll be. So you're going to have to give it some space to like not clip through the chair, right? I just wanted to let you know that I got extremely lucky with how the sizing of this world turned out. It seemed to pretty much match up with Koikatsu exactly, which is kind of mind-blowing, actually, if you think about it. So if you import this thing and it doesn't match up with any of the H points, what you want to do is obviously mess around with file scale or scale factor. But yeah. One more thing about these H points, that if you want an H point to represent two things at once, you can do that. So you can have, you know, an H point that represents standing and laying down at the same time, if you want. Obviously, it's going to only display the first element in the list, but it will, if you choose the laying down category, it will show up there. So you can have like an H point that is literally just standing and laying and sitting and whatever, and it'll save you the trouble of just copying and pasting this multiple times, you know. We also have this free spawn thing, and this is where just, you know, your spawn point where you start. And I think that she starts pointing towards the blue direction, or the negative red direction. So like away from that red thing. I think that's what that is. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, this is our spawn point. So if we wanted to start the H scene somewhere else, we can obviously just like do that right there. Like, you know, go into orthographic or isometric mode and then put it close enough to the floor. You get the picture. You get the idea. I trust you. We need to do something before we export this. Anytime you change this, right, you're going to want to go back and change this. Okay, so let's copy this name. Wait. No, this is the one. Yeah. Copy this name. So you obviously to change the number. So just boom, number is changed. And then we take H.34219 and drag it over the thing with the same name. Like so. Replace anyway. And these other two, let me just real quick, I'll show you. The other two are going to be the other modes. So this is the group mode, and this here is you know, solo mode plus lesbian mode, but you know, same process with these. So if you make any changes here, you're gonna want to drag this and then, you know, replace it. But for now, we haven't made any changes, so I don't care to move them. Okay. So once we make the change here, so then what we want to do is go into our folder here, Black Mesa. So we have H.34219. So all of these dot prefabs, we want to copy these and then paste them into VR H points. So we're just going to delete this and do that. And so all of these are going to be identical to all of these because you just copied and pasted them. So then we just select all of these, right click, configure VR H points. And then what we do is we go back to our thing. Remember I told you that we were going to do this, right? So then we just grab this and then we put that right there, enter, you're done. All right, so now when we export all of these H points, even though they're not visible for some, oh, right, you gotta make sure they're visible. All right, so another thing I forgot to mention is layer management, right? This room here, everything beneath that should generally be on the map layer right there. Obviously, we're using an unlit shader, so lighting isn't going to be applied to it in general. But if it were, and we put this on the car layer, then it would be lit up by the character light. Generally, though, we keep maps on the map layer. Okay, now we export. All right, so you see these H points, and you can move her around to the different ones that we set up, even the chair. And she's sitting in it pretty well. I mean, you can do your own finicky finicky stuff with it. If you want her to like genuinely be sitting in the chair, it's kind of hard to make it work. I really wish they would have made the origin point for the chair be her ass instead of her feet, but you can't win them all. All right, so let's just see this in action inside of Studio. So we just go to Black Mesa. There we go. We've got our map. And it seems to have worked pretty good. And we can, add our characters and take pictures, all of that. All right, so I think that might about do it for this video. I mean, if you're interested in setting up lighting for this, I will be making a tutorial for that not too long from now, but for now, that'll get you started on everything. I mean, if you want to set up your own lighting, that can be your own adventure that you can go on. But I will be making a tutorial for that soon enough. This has just been kind of a starter to get you making your own maps. Definitely definitely stay tuned for more. But yeah, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.